Today, we're going to find the area of a triangle bounded by the y-axis, the line f of x is equal to 9 minus 6 over 7x, and the line perpendicular to f of x that passes through the origin. All right, so let's take it piece by piece, all right? So we've got to create this little triangle that's bounded by the y-axis, this function, and then the function perpendicular to that function I just circled. So first, let's highlight the y-axis, okay? So the y-axis here will be a line drawn just like this, right? It is, I already drew it there in black, but I'm going to put it in red just so we can see the triangle that's probably going to be outlined. The next thing I have to do is now graph this function, okay? So I'm going to, I know the y-intercept here is positive 9. Remember, this follows the equation y is equal to mx plus b. They rearrange it though a little bit. It's going to look like this. Y is equal to b plus mx. So the b here is 9, and the m is going to be negative 6 over 7. So the y-intercept now is, go with me on here, 1, right? We're going to count up 9 spots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay? Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Now what we have to do is we have to now take into account the slope. Remember, slope here, or the m value, is always the change in y over the change in x. So this top value is the y and this is the x. The negative sign is telling you you should go downwards, okay? Or to the left, depending upon how you do it. But don't do both at the same time. For example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 6 spots here from this point now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once I do that now, I have to move in the positive x direction, okay? I went in the negative y, and now I'm going to go in the positive x. A negative y divided by a positive x works out to be a negative value, okay? That's why, and because the slope is negative. All right, so now I have to go out 7 spots now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's my point, okay? You can draw your line now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count downwards now another 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and then I'm going to go over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess somewhere on over there. Okay, so this looks like the line that's going to be created. So let's draw this as best as possible, and that looks relatively reasonable. I think it looks like it's off by ever so little. So I'm going to just try to. It still looks off, doesn't it? 1 second. I'm very particular. That looks a lot better. Now, what we now have to do is we now have to graph another line that's perpendicular to the one we just drew, right? So in order to do that, and it also, by the way, that new line has to pass through the origin. So essentially the origin here becomes the new y-intercept. Now remember, anytime you graph a perpendicular function, what you have to do is take the negative reciprocal of the slope of the other function. So in other words, if the original slope was negative 6 over 7, then the one that will be perpendicular is positive 7 over 6. Flip the sign and flip the fraction. So now I'm going to, my y is a positive 7, so now I'm going to go up 7 spots from here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then over to the right, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So here's the point, okay? I'm going to do the opposite, right? So I'm going to go down 7 from this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like I'm a little off the page. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it looks like I'm a little off. And then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be somewhere on down here all the way at the bottom. Okay? So now what I have to do is I have to draw that now line. All right? So let's connect those dots. And that looks pretty, almost. This is going to be kind of slightly angled, a little bit like that, I think. Okay, that looks a little better. So now let's shade this region, because this is now the triangle that is bounded by these 3 red lines. And this is now the triangle we have to find the area of, all right? As you can see, I wasn't the best at coloring inside the lines as a child. But what are you going to do? So we got to figure out this area, okay? So it's a triangle. Now you have to remember the formula for area of a triangle, all right? Let me get rid of some of this other stuff now, since this really is unimportant, right? And the area of a triangle here, as you probably know, is half the value of the base multiplied by the height. So the question is, in this triangle, what's the base? You can look at it in a couple of ways. I think the easiest way to look at it, you might say, well, the base is on the bottom. Well, yeah, that's fine, but the base doesn't technically have to be on the bottom. You can look at this as a triangle that's almost rotated. In other words, pretend you had a triangle that looked like this, well, with a straight line, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and rotate it, all right? So I'm going to resize it. I'm going to rotate it like this, right? And it's almost that's the same idea here, okay? So the base here is actually the bottom of the picture over here on the right is going to be the base, and what's happening is the triangle, I'm just rotating it, all right? So right over here, this will be the base, this length, okay? So in other words, let's just get rid of that, and this that I'm drawing right now is going to represent the base of that triangle, that length. Do you know the length already of that? Sure you do, right? Look at it. This starts at the origin, and it ends at a y value of 9, so that has to be y. It has to be the value of y there, which is 9, all right? So I already know the base length. The base length is going to be 9, so watch. Area is equal to 1/2 9 now times the height. So what the heck is the height? Well, the height in this case is going to be the length between the base and the apex, essentially, of that triangle, okay? Let me draw that a little better. So this length, okay, is going to be the height. How do we find it? How do we find it? Well, we find it by finding the point of intersection between these two functions, okay? So in other words, the function here of this line was the given. I'm just going to call it y is equal to 9 minus 6 over 7x. And now the function of this line here, which was perpendicular, so it has to look like this, positive now 7 over 6x, because the slope, right, we talked about that already. The slope is the negative reciprocal of this. But what's now the y-intercept of that red line? Well, it's 0, because it passed through the origin. So these are now your two equations. Okay, these are your two equations. Now notice that both of these equations are equal to y. Okay, so in other words, I want to find this particular point in common between both of them. So what I need to do is I need to take this equation and set it equal to this equation. Why am I doing that? I am doing that because the coordinates of this point, whatever they are, x comma y, you can almost estimate what it is. It should be around 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit. So maybe it's going to be 4.1, comma, now estimate the y. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Looks like a little greater than 5, so maybe 5.1, right? Both of these two red lines, this one and this one, share the same y value and also the same x value. So, since I already have this equation set equal to y, and I have this equation set equal to y, remember they both represent each graph separately, I know then at this particular location, this y is equal to this y. And what that means is that this is equal then to that. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. So 0 plus 7 over 6x equals 9 minus 6 over 7x. Solve this now for x. Why? Well, because we can, right? And we will then interpret the significance of that, right? Anytime you have one equation with one unknown, you can always solve it. So why don't we start by maybe, the 0 really does nothing, so who cares? Why don't we add the 6 over 7x to both sides, okay? 6 over 7x. So what you can now do is you can now, and that's a subtraction, but that should be an addition. So now all we simply have to do is just add these two together, right? So simply take out the calculator, do 7 divided by 6 plus 6 divided by 7, and you get a decimal now, right? A little larger than 2. Now you can use the decimal or you can convert that into a fraction, right? By using a function in your calculator, fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction or whatever. And this works out to be 85 over 42. Okay, so you can, it doesn't matter. You can leave it as 85 over 42x, or you can write the decimal on down. I'm going to write the decimal just because, I don't know, it looks less confusing to me. So this is 2.02 4, I'm going to round. X is equal to then 9. And then I'm going to divide out this number. Now, when I divide this in the calculator, I'm going to use the exact value. In other words, I'm going to take 9, and then I'm going to divide it by the second answer, okay? So that I can divide by that exact number of 2.023809, blah, 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 okay? And then I'm going to answer it in terms of now a decimal. All right, so this works out to now be 4.45 or so. 4.45, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's now the X value. Now if we go back, and maybe there's something wrong with my eyes, because now that I'm looking at this looks a little more accurate. When I'm talking here before about, what the X value is, I said it should be about 4.1. But I mean, if I really draw a straight line down from that point, that doesn't look like 4.1 to me. That looks like very close to 4.5, right? Maybe 4.4. So I'm not really sure what my eyes were looking at before. But we're in the ballpark, all right? We're in the ballpark. So what I now realize is that, hey, wait a minute. The X value I solved here, is that the X value of this coordinate? That point? Yes, that's the value. But wait a minute. Doesn't this X value represent the distance from the origin, basically, to that black line? Yes, it does. And is that the same as my height? Yes, it is. So therefore, what's the height of the triangle? The height of the triangle is what we just found. So what I can now do is get rid of the H. I can now plug in that value of 4.45, blah, blah, blah. Again, when I do the calculation, I'm going to use the exact value. So I'm going to take 0.5, then I'm going to multiply that area out. 0.5, or 1/2, multiplied by 9, multiplied by that exact answer, 4.4705, whatever. So it comes out to about 20. So area is going to be about 20. And they didn't give us any units, so it's 20, whatever you want here. Meters squared, squared centimeters, I don't know, miles squared, right? Acres, who knows? But that is the answer. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I really do hope this helped. And if it did, if you wouldn't mind giving us a hand, hitting that subscribe button, like button, maybe even telling your friends, all right? We appreciate it very much. We've got thousands of videos out there for you to check out just to help you through your course. Take care.